You're with Robson's people! Right, this week I'll find out if the soap bubble's ready to burst. Well, I don't know about anybody else's, but mine are popping all over the place. It's that time of year, isn't it? But it's not what they meant. They meant soap operas. They're seemingly never-ending stream we've got of stories about the rich and the famous, the poor and the ordinary. They keep us glued to the box, hour after hour after hour. Now, they're called soap operas, but why are they called soap operas? That's the question.
Well, it's because they come from America and the radio soaps of the 30s.
Yes, well, I knew that. And do you know what the longest-running television soap opera is anywhere in the world?
Coronation Street.
Hey, man! It's my show. I'm supposed to I'm informing people here. Well, anyway, there's always one in the audience, and it's probably him. Anyway, love them or loathe them, soaps are here to stay. From all over the world, we've got American soaps, we've got Scottish soaps, even Brazilian soaps, if you've seen that one about disco dancing. Anyway, the biggest impact of the last few years has been the influx of soaps from Australia. From Life to the outback, all the confines of women's prisons everywhere. Everybody, it seems, is over the top about life down under with the old digger Egan's. And our first guest tonight is doubly qualified to talk about that because she's currently to be seen in two of the most popular soaps on our screens. She's a frumpy busybody Celia Stewart in Home and Away and vicious Vera Bennett in Prisoner of Cell Block H. Please welcome Fiona Spence. Hello. Take a seat. I'm all claggy with the soap bubbles here, but...
I actually did them 4 or 5, more. I finished Vera Bennett in 1981 and started Celia Stewart in 1987. It seems odd because you're watching them at the same time.
Because presumably they must be going out at different times all over the world, then.
Yes, but you've just bought Prisoner a few years ago, so it seems...
Seems quite new.
It seems like I'm stuck in a bit of a time warp.
Now, we've actually got a picture of you in Prisoner, and the way that it looks is... Well, you don't look much like you in it, really. Completely different.
Well, yes, but there are things that, yeah, of course, they aren't alike. But you can... I could find similarities in the two characters if I was going to sit down and really think about it. Both... characters, life had passed them by. They didn't have any success with their love life. They were both lonely. They reacted to that differently. They were slightly obsessive, both of them. So you can find similarities in their characters, but they just used it differently.
Is any...
They did have one... They showed the first 20 episodes again in Australia, and I didn't know, because, again, it was on late at night. And I was out with a friend, and I'd gone to the theatre, and then I'd gone to supper, and I was walking to my car, and people were sort of looking at me and saying, oh, great show. And I thought... What are they talking about, you know? So...
But what we have seen is the American soaps, the Dynasties and the Dallases, and they've taken it, they've gone down. I mean, well, yes, Australian soaps have taken over, but are they likely to be a trend in much the same way that the Americans seem to have?
Well, I think that there's a lifestyle... Well, I can't talk about Prisoner, Cell Block H. I think that's a bit of voyeurism. People are fascinated to know what goes on the inside. But as far as Home and Away is concerned, I think that there is a lifestyle that is... quite attractive to the English people. The locations are very attractive. In Palm Beach, where they do all the outside, the beaches.
Is it real, though? I mean, is that what Australian life actually is like?
Well, yes, we've got beautiful beaches.
No, I mean the actual situations and the way people react.
No, I think it's an exaggeration like that.
But mind you, you've been over here enough to probably have clocked some of the British soap operas as well. What do you reckon to them? Yeah,
well, we do them much faster. So in that way, I think that what we do quite well, because last time I was here, it was Coronation Street's 30th birthday. That's and right. I think just after that, they increased from 1 hour to 1.5. Well, Prisoner was done at 2 hours a week and Home and Away at 2.5. So that's fast working.
But we seem to have everything.
But to answer your question, I think they're very good. And particularly when I was here doing the Prisoner Cell Block H tour, I did have some time to watch television, and it was Brooksides that I thought was excellent.
Yes, but just briefly, the soaps that we've got the Sullivans and the Young Doctors and the Country Practice. We seem to have everything. Is there something that we haven't got yet that we're going to get?
I'm sure we'll think of something. But and that's that people say, are there no actors in Australia because they've seen the same actors
In
on the
every
shows,
soap,
but they don't realise someone like Cornelia Francis, who was in Young Doctors and Sons and Daughters and Home and Away, that spans about 15 years.
Yeah, so it does
you
actually
see them
move
all
on.
at once and you think that there's one actor running between 3 studios.
Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Now, I have to stress here that when it comes to soaps, I sometimes get me Dynasty and me Dallases all mixed up, and I get myself sort of tied up in a right notch landing. And if I take the high road, I get lost at the crossroads, and I find myself asking the neighbours to call the flying doctors to take me to Brookside. But none of this is a problem for our next guest, a man who knows more about soap operas than you and I ever knew existed. An interest became an obsession became a career. This man knows so much about soaps, he probably knows the name of the cat at the beginning of Coronation Street. Ladies and gentlemen, you met him briefly earlier when he was heckling from the sidelines. Now please welcome him in his own right, an author and acknowledged soapy, and a right clever dick, Chris Stacey! Well, as somebody that's a sort of a casual soap watcher, you must be mad.
No, not. I enjoy it.
All of them, though. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
like all soap, surely.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's an escapism for some of them, and for some it's like meeting a family. I mean, Crossroads became a family to me, you know, Meg and the Motel and Sandy and Jill.
But it started, didn't it, with Peyton Place,
Yeah.
which a lot of people think the American series was maybe the first.
It was a bit steamy for the 60s, wasn't it? I mean,
It was a hot show. It made a lot of actors' names as well,
Yeah.
Ryan O'Neill, Mia Farrow, and,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
countless others. But to go on to Crossroads as a young man, because I remember kids talking about soaps, it wasn't actually a popular thing. It wasn't a hot thing to do, to be a soap fan at a young age, and yet you obviously were.
Yeah, I mean, really and truly in those days there was only 2 soaps. There was Coronation Street, of course, and Crossroads.
Yeah.
And they were really aimed at the housewife, and they, mind you, I live in London, and Crossroads was on kids' time in London, so
Was it?
kids watched it. So I grew up with it.
Did you think it was realistic?
Well, no, I mean the sets wobbling. I mean, and the
Well, yeah.
actors forgetting their lines. They do in Home and Away, didn't they? The sets
Well, I
wobble.
think Prisoner of Cell Block
They
was, it was
do.
an
They
art
do
form,
not.
wasn't it?
No, there has been a rumour that they wobbled in Prisoner, but not in Home and Away.
Oh, they do.
Well, not when I was on it.
No, it's
When you picked up that piece of whatever greenery and put it in your basket, it was a massive big thing. When you see
No,
it. It was a great. You was only meant to pick up a little bit like that. You picked up a massive big thing.
that was Judy Nunn.
No, it was you in Home and
I
Away.
think 2 falls, 2 submissions are enough to say the winner over
Parsley.
here.
Yeah,
the
that's it,
parsley
the
scene, that
parsley.
was Judy Nunn. She
But-
only meant to pick up
Chris,
3 pieces.
what we want to find out, though, is how the actual obsession took hold of you, because the number of soaps that's now on, you've got the Australian soaps that start early in the morning, and you've got Prisoner, which is normally on end at
Yeah.
night. Do you
And you've got
actually
the
work
satellite
on?
soaps. Yes, I do.
So you can't watch them all, then?
Well, I do. I don't have weekends, basically.
So you watch non-stop soaps all the way through? I mean,
Saturdays and Sundays.
this
are
must
my-
affect you in a sort of a mental sense. Are you all right? I mean, do you...
Well, I think so. Yeah, my psychiatrist says I'm all right, so I'm all right. That's why I'm here.
You're wearing Coronation Street boxer shorts
I am
today.
indeed, and you're not going to see them. Not with my legs.
But the thing is, how far do you take it? Because now, product-wise, there's a book of the series, there's videos, there's just about of everything. There's a Home and Away annual and stuff. Do you go that far?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So is it an acting thing? I mean, because out of some of the acting is wooden, arguably more wooden than the sets. Some of it's very good. Some of it's very good, and it covers. Which one's your favourite then?
I think out of loyalty, Coronation Street has to be. But I do enjoy Home and Away because it's sunny and it's nice.
Yeah.
And because she's sitting next to you.
Yeah, so because
And
I'm
she'll
not-
hit me, yeah. And I also like Brookside because I've watched it from the very beginning.
But what's the appeal of soaps beyond other programmes like action series that there are many?
You'd be a historian of soaps now, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
After all, with all that experience, and yeah.
So, but what is it about them that lights your fire then?
Well, I think there is so much rubbish on television, and a lot of people in this audience would say soaps are rubbish, but they're
They
not.
did, yeah.
You can learn a lot from soap, and that was the idea of soap in the first place.
Because you've won competitions on this,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it led to you writing
Yeah,
a book about
that's
sort of
right.
super soaps and stuff. Did you find that you had to pothole all of this knowledge? Because a lot of it is really quite obscure, some of the things that you did.
I mean, some of it stays up there. Obviously, some of it goes, but it's just my mind. It's got something up there that keeps obscure facts.
Or it hasn't. Either way. It's, I'm just amazed that anybody is that keen on it. Right, now, what I want to find out, if there's any...